So it's 1765 and the Stamp Act has just been passed by the British Parliament and the colonists are red hot mad. No, that's not taxes on stamps like you would use to mail a letter, but taxes on all printed materials. Ben Franklin and Sam Adams are hot in the mix of things and no one is happy. Since when were we supposed to pay for the King's Wars? Yeah, good point. How am I supposed to pay for my eel pie with these taxes? I got an idea. I'll move to London as the representative of the colonies and live like a king on the crown's dime. You do like those ladies in London. This was the first time, sort of, that the colonists were taxed directly. The Stamp Act was enacted for the sole purpose of raising revenue in order to recoup some financial losses from the 7 Years' War against France. The British Parliament really started to irk the colonists with the passing of the Proclamation of 1763, which prohibited the colonists from expanding westward. Imagine that! Tired of the big city or mosquito-infested East Coast, and you want to head west. But no! Just to add fuel to fire, in 1764 the British Parliament passed the Sugar Act, which taxed sugar, coffee, and a bunch of other things. Like coffee and tea aren't already expensive enough. Of course the British want to curtail our actions. They don't want to hear a jot more about us exercising our rights as British men and women, or maybe as Americans. But that is 10 years from now. About this whole thing about not being represented, the British claimed the Parliament represented all British, not just those living in Britain. Parliament, of course, tried to fire back, saying that the colonists were virtually represented. What the heck does that mean? Are they going to FaceTime us or something? I don't think so. Those characters in Parliament also say, what's the fuss? At best, we'd only have a few seats in Parliament. Guess not worth their effort, but it's worth it for us. Back in Boston, there were riots in the streets. They were convinced that Parliament could not tax them without consent. Things got uglier and uglier. The Stamp Act Congress met in the fall of '65 to make a direct appeal to Parliament to repeal these crazy taxes. Not only do those cats in London want to tax us to the yin-yang, they want us to pay for it with their hard currency, which was rare enough to get anyways. We colonists had paper currency. Not fair, right? So in the spring of 1765, the Massachusetts governor called in the troops and Parliament passed the Quartering Act. Some say that we're stirring up the pot. I don't think that is very fair. And now they want us to feed and house their soldiers. What in the world? I'll give them my wife's finest calf-foot jelly. Sure, that will have them running to the outhouse. Bunch of rabble-rousers like the Loyal Nine and basically anyone opposed to the Stamp Act started calling themselves the Sons of Liberty, even if they didn't live in Boston. They met regularly for some pints at the Green Dragon Tavern on Union Street. Yeah, we started causing some trouble. So what? Roughing up the tax collectors, borrowing some of their goods and possessions? I mean, who are we to blame? The slimy Lieutenant Governor of Massachusetts denounced the Stamp Act in an official letter to Parliament. Well, we didn't just get mad or even, we got mad and even. Attacking, looting, and destroying this house on the night of August 26, 1765. British Parliament was furious that money wasn't being raised. I mean, who can blame them? You shake down those tax collectors? Let's just say they won't be bothering us. Spying in 1765 was big business. The Sons of Liberty ran a spy ring tracking British movements. In fact, there were double agents in the midst. Benjamin Church, he's a son and at the same time selling info to the British because he's deep in debt. Benedict Arnold is also at the Green Dragon, and how many of you think you're spying for the Brits? Watch your back. In October 1765, the colonists produced the first unified response to Parliament and to King George III. King George, they said, tear up this act. And guess what? He and Parliament did. A year after the Stamp Act came into existence, it was repealed. Yeah, but don't hold your breath. The same day the Stamp Act was repealed, the Parliament passed the Declaratory Act. Typical. The Declaratory Act basically said that Britain could impose any laws they want on the colonists at any time. Yeah, true to their word, the clowns in Parliament soon after that started taxing other stuff like paint, lead, glass, tea, with the Townshend Acts of 1767. And that gets us to the Boston Tea Party, the Boston Massacre, and independence. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So until next time.